The Appalachian Mountains are famous for incredible scenic drives like the Blue Ridge Parkway, Skyline Drive, or Newfound Gap Road, just to name a few. But there's another scenic highway that's becoming more popular every year. Located deep in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, home to the highest peaks in the northern Appalachian Mountains, 800,000 vehicles experience this scenic drive every year. Kancamagus Scenic Byway, or New Hampshire's Route 112, is known as one of the best autumn foliage viewing areas in the world. It stands out for the intensity and density of the colors in a relatively short drive, just 34.5 miles. This scenic mountain road connects the mountain vacation towns of Lincoln and Conway, New Hampshire. The locals there call this road the KANK. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything we learned about New Hampshire's Kancamagus Scenic Byway. Hey there, my name is Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life. The KANK is one of the most amazing mountain experiences in the Appalachian Mountains, north or south. By the end of this video, you'll be convinced it should be your next mountain vacation destination. This is our first visit to one of the sub-ranges in the northern Appalachian Mountains, so I'm certainly not an expert. I'm just sharing what we learned during our visit. But if you're from this part of New Hampshire or know a lot about the White Mountains and Kancamagus Scenic Highway, I need your help. If I get anything wrong or leave out important information, or if you have any recommendations and insight, let us know in the comments. I know you're going to love the scenery in this video, so be sure to watch until the very end. As always, I've left links in the description, so go ahead and hit the like button and let's get started. It's often called the Scenic Drive with the hard-to-pronounce name. How to pronounce Kancamagus is one of the most asked questions about this mountain road. Asking Google doesn't always work because it doesn't always give you the local pronunciation, which is always right even if the experts say it's wrong.
Kancamagus.
I admit I was so worried about getting it right that I called the nice people at Kancamagus Highway. They are extremely friendly. If you're from the area, let me know how I'm doing in the comments. The road is named after Chief Kancamagus. It means the fearless one. He was the grandson of the great Pennacook leader Conway, who united more than a dozen regional tribes into the Pennacook Confederacy back in the 17th century. He led his people through some of the first interactions with English settlers. Kancamagus was an advocate for peace as well, but faced some difficult decisions as European expansion continued. Eventually, for the welfare of his people, Kancamagus moved north to what's now the Canadian border. Kancamagus Highway has a different story compared to famous scenic roads like the Blue Ridge Parkway or Virginia Skyline Drive. It wasn't originally built for tourism at all. The KANK was constructed to connect two mountain towns and aid forest management. In the 1800s, most of the White Mountains were sold to logging companies, leading to massive deforestation. Conservation efforts grew over time, leading to the Weeks Act in 1911, which allowed the federal government to buy and protect forest. This gave rise to White Mountain National Forest. Initially, Kancamagus was just a dirt road that took 22 years to complete due to funding. Now, over time, the public's desire for scenic mountain roads grew, and by the late 1950s, roads like Skyline Drive and Blue Ridge Parkway were established as great vacation destinations. And that means tourist dollars. But Kancamagus Highway wasn't even paved until 1964. So you might say that Kancamagus Highway got a late start compared to the Blue Ridge Parkway and other scenic U.S. routes. The byway is a public road, New Hampshire Route 112. So in this way, it's a lot like Newfound Gap Road in Tennessee. Kancamagus is not as well known as other scenic roads in the Appalachian Mountains, but that's changing. This scenic byway has earned its reputation as one of America's greatest mountain drives, specifically in the autumn when fall foliage attracts visitors from all over the world, many learning about this route through word of mouth or YouTube videos like this one. Kancamagus Highway was designated as a National Scenic Byway in 1996, and no visit to the White Mountains in New Hampshire is complete without it. It's an immersive experience. There are no gas stations or commercial services along the entire 34.5-mile route, so you'll want to fill up and grab some snacks in Lincoln or Conway before embarking on the drive. By the way, Lincoln and Conway, New Hampshire are warm and friendly New England mountain towns with scenic views, great dining, and outstanding lodging. Both towns have some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. neat. We are so grateful for how well we were treated during our visit. A few blogging sites complain about the lack of restroom facilities along the drive, but it's just not true. For a 34.5-mile road, there are quite a few restrooms. During our visit, the restrooms were clean, which is saying a lot considering the crowds. The leaves here begin changing in the middle of September, but I wouldn't get too hung up on whether to be here the first or second week of October or the last week of September. By all accounts, it's a little different every year. During our visit, we experienced a nice variety of weather. It's what you would expect in the fall. The temperatures, however, are a lot cooler than what we're used to this time of year in the South, and we loved it. It was in the upper 30s and lower 40s in the morning, and it never got above 62 degrees during the day. It was wonderful. Winter arrives early. The first snowfall comes before the leaves have fully fallen. This area can get up to 100 inches of snow a year. That's 10 feet of snow every winter. Kancamagus is the perfect place for winter recreation like cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, and hiking. Officially, the road is open year-round. Officially, but websites also say the road is closed from November to early May because of snow. So I'm not sure I understand how the road can be open all year but closed 6 months out of the year. So if you know anything, help us out in the comments. At just under 3,000 feet, Kancamagus Pass is the highest point along the byway. It provides some of the most scenic mountain views. The byway runs right through White Mountains National Forest, often parallel to the Swift River. There you can hike, fish, and swim. And during our visit, there were people swimming, and I questioned their sanity because of the temperature, but the water is extremely clean, clear, and beautiful. Looking back, I should have at least got my feet wet. There are other natural attractions like Sabbaday Falls, Lower Falls, and Rocky Gorge. We put off Rocky Gorge until next time, but I think we messed up because it looks amazing. Attractions like these are more accessible on Kancamagus Highway than other scenic highways in the Appalachian Mountains. If you enjoy camping, there are 6 campgrounds that are easily accessed from the byway. The Kancamagus is well maintained and suitable for RVs. Just don't forget that climb to nearly 3,000 feet and hairpin curves. At one point, the Kancamagus is surrounded by New Hampshire's largest wilderness area. During our visit, we only saw deer, but it's common to see moose and black bears along the road during the morning and evening. But if you do see any animals, you'll have to wait to send those pictures to your family and friends. Much of the Kancamagus Scenic Byway lacks cellular reception. Many websites will tell you that it takes about an hour to drive the full length of the Kanc, but we were there during peak season and traffic was heavy, and sometimes it stopped. It reminds me a lot of Cades Cove in Smoky Mountains National Park or Newfound Gap Road. Yes, traffic is heavy on Kancamagus Scenic Byway. It took us close to 3 hours to complete the drive, but we loved every second of it, and you will too. There are no fees to drive on this national treasure, but if you want to park and explore the trails, waterfalls, and rivers, you'll have to purchase a recreation pass. There are kiosks along the way. We loved our time visiting New Hampshire and Kancamagus Scenic Byway. If you want to plan a trip to the White Mountains of New Hampshire, I would start doing your research now. I've got to give my wife Carolyn all the credit for planning our New England trip. We are going to make a New England planning video soon, but Carolyn started booking rooms, the flight, the rental car about 4 months out, but she recommends booking 6 months out. I'm not saying you can't visit this part of New Hampshire on a spur-of-the-moment kind of trip, but your options are going to be limited. Kancamagus Scenic Byway was a great choice, and yes, we would do it again and again. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you'll leave a comment or question. It may take us a few days, but we try to respond to every comment. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already, and sharing this video really helps our channel. Here are some other videos I know you'll enjoy, and again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life.